Hi there, and welcome to episode 39 of my series 100 Casts, in which I shoutcast over 100 games of League of Legends sent in to me by fans and friends. If you'd like your replay to be featured on the series, just check the description. You can figure out how to do that down there. Anyways, hope you enjoy. I'll see you at the end of the video. Hey there guys, Octavian here, and this is going to be episode 38 of my series 100 Casts. This episode was sent in to me by Mainframe, playing the Evelynn on purple team. And yeah, we can get into some of the matchups here and some of that other good, juicy information to start the game off with. Down in the bottom lane, we have a Morgana and a Corki versus a Thresh and a Lucian, the 100% wife steal lane. Thresh and Lucian.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
The most unlikely duo in terms of lore, but you see them together so often because they're both such powerful standards of the bottom lane for the last few patches here. Basically, ever since Lucian came into power, and I mean, Thresh has never been out of the meta. Ever since the advent of Thresh being part of the League of Legends, he has not been out of the meta. He just has so much utility in that kit, with the unique ability that he has on Dark Passage and all of the CC he has with, well, the rest of his kit. He's so very strong, even through all the various nerfs and buffs that he's had. He's never fallen out of the meta, and there's Lucian a little bit caught out here. Binding lands, and he might be going down. There's a lot of burst. The Ignite is dropped onto him as well. A few more auto attacks from the Corki. The Ignite's ticking. It's not going to bring him down, though. Evelynn off to the side. Might be able to escape here. Binding does connect as well, and Evelynn doesn't have a flash. I was just about to mention that she only has Ignite and Smite and not flash, so that's first blood going over to Corki. Well played by the blue team here. Some very nice bindings already from the Morgana. Sorry about that. Accidentally hit the escape key, but what you missed was the Warwick flashing. So that is Warwick's flash down as well as first blood going over to blue team. Well done. Especially by that Morgana, landing both bindings. So far, 100% binding rate, 2 for 2. Looks like Shyvana's going to be starting at her red buff, and Evelynn did at least manage to make it back in time before her blue buff spawned, so she's going to be able to start that as well with a good leash from the Thresh, so junglers nearing each other in terms of map movement, if not in terms of buff color choice. We can get into some of the other matchups here. The mid lane matchup is going to be a Veigar versus an Ahri. Now that, I don't really want to throw that one way or the other, honestly, just in terms of the matchup. I think that's going to be purely a skill matchup because it's going to wholly depend on their respective CCs. If Charm lands, Ahri can burst down the Veigar instantly. If Event Horizon lands, Veigar can burst down the Ahri instantly. So it's going to be all about the E ability for this lane here. And the last lane that I haven't gotten to yet is the top lane, which the camera's currently looking at. It's a very unorthodox setup up there. That is a Warwick versus an Urgot. Urgot seems to be getting the early advantage here, but we're only a few minutes in. It could swing back. Nice hook lands onto nobody down in the bottom lane. Play back as well. Spell shield a little bit too late. He's forced to flash away. Barely has any hit points left. That was a little bit of a delayed spell shield there. Didn't actually block any of the CC at all. Nice binding back on the Thresh. They do trade some damage back onto him, at least. And, Lucian dashing forward, getting his passive. And now here's Evelynn up in the top lane. Has that red buff taking Ignite as well. And Urgot gets back to his tower, but there's so many dots on him because of that Ignite choice rather than flash for the Evelynn. She picks up a kill up in the top lane, evening out the kill score at 1-1, making up for the first blood that the lack of a flash gave over to the enemy team by using that Ignite to pick up the first kill for her team. Well done, Evelynn. And down in bottom lane, we see that Lucian and Thresh are pushing up. They've got the level advantage here, and Lucian has landed a few very good piercing lights across the minion wave. Event Horizon doesn't quite land. Ahri turns around, trades fairly well. The hook lands onto Morgana, but they don't really want to dive into the tower at this level. Binding turns around back onto Thresh, and there's a spell shield on Corki, so Thresh can't stop him from getting some good auto attacks onto the Lucian, who's brought down below half health. Both Morgana and Lucian very low. Ooh, piercing light goes across the Corki. Phosphorus bomb turns back around, though. He's Valkyrieing in. Thresh flashes back to land the flay. Heal is popped as well as Corki's burning everything here. Gets exhausted, though, and then hooked. And he can't finish off the kill. Might be able to turn around and get the kill onto Thresh, though. Phosphorus bomb and an auto attack. Gonna provide the burst he needs to bring down the Chain Warden. 2 kills for blue team now, and both of them on Corki. Versus the 1 for purple team up in the top lane. But the top lane matchup, speaking of that, is the one that I was talking about before some action happened, and I was not really able to get back to it. It is the Urgot versus the Warwick. Now, those are both uncommon picks in and of themselves. And it looks like we might have another gank here. Mainframe coming in around. Hate spikes are landing. Red buff is burning. Blood scent is on. Warwick doesn't even get an assist, though. Mainframe does all the damage, all by himself. This guy's having a hell of a time up in top lane. He had the early CS lead, but he's since fallen behind because he's 0-2 now from Evelyn just sitting up in that lane. The boots of mobility already there for Evelyn, allowing her to roam up to top lane over and over again. And this Urgot keeps on pushing the lane out. To be fair, he does have teleport, so he'll be able to get some of these minions back that he otherwise would have missed. So he at least is able to hold his own in the lane, but it does cost him his teleport to do that, so that's going to be down for a little while. And we see Mainframe looking to maybe gank somewhere other than the top lane for now. Can't really pull off a gank in the middle lane too easily, though. Is flanking around behind the Ahri, using that invisibility passive very well, getting some hate spikes onto the Ahri, and she's not level 6 yet, she can't ult away. Meanwhile, we swap down to the bottom lane where Thresh and Lucian are still pushing up over and over again, getting under these turrets. Despite the fact that Corki has 2 early kills, the Lucian Thresh lane is just such a good combo that they are able to push this up under the tower. But to be fair, Corki, despite being under tower about half or a third of the time in this game, has been keeping up in terms of CS. Is only 2 CS down on this Lucian and has the 2-kill lead, one of those being first blood, so gold advantage certainly in favor of Corki here, and we can see that in the fact that he has a sheen up over the Lucian. Ooh, nice damage turned around. Hook lands, but he's spell immune. Very well traded by the blue team in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Ahri's getting leapt upon here by Vigor and by the Evelyn. Vigor didn't have ulti. Vigor didn't quite have the mana to cast ulti. Very, very lucky break there for the Ahri that he didn't have the mana that he needed, because that ultimate would have provided the burst that he needed to bring down the Ahri before she could ult away. Ooh, Dark Binding doesn't quite connect, goes a little bit wide. Phosphorus Bomb does land though, and Lucian's taking a lot of harass down here in bottom lane. Corki's actually gotten the CS lead now as well as those 2 kills, and here's Mainframe up behind the Urgot again. Comes out of invisibility, hate spikes landing. Warwick has his ulti, infinite duress. No, low, low, low. It's a pretty great name that the Urgot has, but it's not a pretty great game so far. 0-3. Even 2 kills over to Evelyn and 1 to Warwick now, and that's gotta hurt. He's gonna have to play real defensive now against this Warwick. He's gonna have to stop pushing up. Or, well, he can't even really get really good vision because it's an Evelyn, and you can only have 1 pink ward at a time, so it's going to be really hard for him to ward against that Evelyn. So pushing up is just a dangerous, dangerous strat for the Urgot to pull off. And while it does mean he has a small CS lead up on this Urgot, he's 0-3. He needs to stop pushing past that river. He needs to stall out, farm under his tower, let Warwick push into him, and do his best to come back into this game and be useful for his team. Anyways, let's swap around back to somewhere else on the map rather than top lane. The jungle matchup is one I haven't gotten into. There's a hook landing and a Corki spell shield. The flay used after the spell shield ends, very nicely timed. The exhaust is down on Corki and he's forced to run away. Now nobody's being chased out by the Lucian and the Thresh. Thresh doesn't have any mana left though, so cannot continue chasing, but they do trade very well, burning the exhaust from the Morgana, I believe. Yeah, looking at the cooldown now, yeah, the exhaust is on cooldown, so Morgana did use hers as well, so trading exhausts there down in the bottom lane, and doing a bunch of damage onto the Corki, but another Phosphorus Bomb landed onto Lucian, and this Corki's maxing Phosphorus Bomb first, and he already has the Sheen, which is providing a little bit of AP even to make them do a bit more damage, though. That's not really the point of building Sheen on Corki, but it is a nice little added bonus, I suppose. So those Phosphorus Bombs are just hurting like hell. As we see Shyvana starting off the first dragon. It's a dragon versus dragon fight here, but she's getting taken pretty low. I don't know if she can solo this. She can. She can. In the end, she does have Smite just in time to save her life, but that was a close fight there between the Dragon Lady and the dragon in the pit. But they do pick up the dragon. Blue team does get the dragon stuff. That puts them ahead in terms of gold because of the global gold advantage that gives. And there's Evelyn just discovering that the dragon pit is empty. It's going to be a little bit disappointed by that. So yeah, nicely snuck there by the blue team Shyvana. And here's Warwick going into the infinite duress. Pop the Bilgewater Cutlass as well to get the slow. Now he has Blood Scent running, but he doesn't want to keep chasing under the tower, even though he has the speed buff. Doesn't want to risk that quite yet. Doesn't want to give Urgot an avenue back into this game. Basically just using his ult to force Urgot away from the reset. As now we see Ahri forced to leap away herself with her ulti. Evelyn seen a lot of work this game. We're not even 10 minutes in, and I think that's the 5th or 6th gank I've seen come out from this Evelyn. Lots and lots of work all across the map. Those boots of mobility really paying off. Meanwhile, down in bottom lane, though, we have a piercing light coming across the Morgana as the rockets are coming back in full force. That Sheen being put to work by Corki, bringing the Thresh down to about half health. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water there. Throat's been a little bit hoarse the last few days, but it's all good. I'll be fine. Going a little wide, not quite landing. As Ahri's trading fairly well with the Veigar there. She does have the blue buff. Shyvana gave the blue buff over to Ahri there, whereas Evelyn has yet to give the Veigar her blue. So, speaking of Evelyn, up in the top lane, red buff burning on this Urgot, and he's not going to be able to get away. That is 0-4 now. What started off as just being overextended once or twice has become a pretty horribly lost lane, so Urgot's, I don't know, maybe he can roam from the lane, use his ulti to set up a good gank in mid lane against this Veigar. Nice charm lands, Orb of Deception as well. Ahri gets the kill. Foxfire finding its way under the tower and taking down the Tiny Master of Evil here as Morgana flashing forward with the Dark Binding, landing onto the Lucian past the Thresh. They're forced to flash away. Corki flashing afterwards, though. The box is not effective because of Morgana's wonderful timing on the Black Shield. Play backwards as well, but Thresh gonna go down. Double kill from Corki. And really good bombs, too. Rockets, rather. Really good rockets. Ooh, infinite duress from the Warwick, teleported out of top lane, gets exhausted, but it's not going to matter. Meanwhile, in mid lane, we have mainframe on the Evelyn, chasing down the Ahri, getting the killing spree with the very edge of the hate spike. And while bot lane is going in the favor of blue team, Corki is 4-1, has the pieces of a Triforce, is working on finishing that out. Top lane in the jungle are heavily in favor of purple team here. Shyvana's basically done nothing but farm. Which, to be fair, helps Shyvana a lot. She's going to wriggle, she's going to be getting the Feral Flare when she can. The farm is going to be effective on her eventually, but this Evelyn has just out-ganked and outperformed the Shyvana over and over again. Top lane is 0-4. The Ahri's been pushing incredibly well and outplaying this Veigar on multiple occasions, but hasn't been able to take full advantage of, well, her advantage in the middle lane because Evelyn has been there so many times off the back of her kill attempts, chasing her away, forcing her ult out, or bringing her down entirely. And I mean, Ahri has built up a CS lead for herself, actually quite a respectable one, nearly 30 CS in the lead over the Veigar here. So mid lane should be far more won for blue team here, but Ahri's keeping that at least somewhat in check, keeping the Veigar relevant, and keeping him stacking up that tier, running towards the late game, to the point where he can one-shot the enemy Corki and make all of the built-up advantages that blue team have simply disappear by pressing a few buttons on a guy riding in a plain, strange Hextech mobile something. Up in top lane, though, we have Urgot being chased by the Warwick. He can't slow him down enough with infinite duress, and now the Blood Scent is on, and he is hunting him under the tower. I don't see any way Urgot's going to get out of that. Meanwhile, Urgot did get out of that. Okay, well, Warwick really doesn't want to go into this tower. A little bit scared of that. Charm doesn't quite land from Ahri. And, yeah, I don't know why Urgot is still here. He gave you a break, man. He had you dead to rights, Urgot, and you're sticking around. I mean, I don't see any way that he's going to be able to escape this one. Warwick chasing after him with Blood Scent flashes forward, Hungering Strike, and another auto attack will seal the deal. Fresh Daily is on his rampage. Now Corki turning around, tons of burst from that Phosphorus Bomb, and here's Shyvana, the first gank of the game for her. She flashes forward, Dragon's Descent onto the Thresh, red buff is burning, Flame Breath will finish off the Lucian. And Thresh goes down to the Corki's Phosphorus Bomb as Ahri in a 1v2 manages to turn around and pick up the Veigar, but does fall to his Ignite right thereafter. Still though, 1v2 situation shows you just how dominant this Ahri has been in the middle lane. But Evelyn, there, making it a 1v2, has really held this lane down as much as she can, done tons and tons of damage control. But to be fair, actually Evelyn's about to take a turret from purple team, so my point might just become moot. To be fair, though, blue team does have a 2-0 turret lead currently, and while Warwick and Evelyn are both working on turrets, Evelyn just finishing off the one in the middle lane, it's a little odd, honestly, that blue team had that lead at all because the jungle has had so much pressure, and Warwick with his teleport has had some pressure across the map too as well. That one death with which Corki has being from a teleport infinite duress combo from the Warwick into the bottom lane, taking him out. Pardon me. Have a little bit of a cold or something. But anyways, I'll get back to the casting. Hey, no heed to the occasional cough. I'm sorry if that doesn't come up. And Dragon did just respawn. Since Shyvana soloed that last time, blue team has the timer on that. They can get that Dragon. Urgot now being chased out by the Evelyn. I don't see any way that Urgot can escape this one. He does not have... Oh, he does have Flash up. He might be able to escape. Urgot! He didn't use Flash. He didn't even try. I mean, Evelyn doesn't have a flash in one. Rocket lands. Can he land the other one? He lands another rocket. One more rocket. Come on, Corki. Oh, the big one. Finishing off Thresh. Well shot, sir. This Corki has impeccable aim with those rockets. Getting another double kill down in the bottom lane. That is the last, well, not the last bastion. Ari, as I've said a few times, is doing quite well. Now has a 40 CS lead in the mid lane. And has taken that turret. But Corki is really the stronghold upon which blue team is relying in this game. Corki is 7-1. He has an Infinity Edge before Lucian has even finished any of his items. And if they can keep this Corki safe, if they can use Urgot's ulti, because even though Urgot is 0-6, he does still have some CC, which is useful. Here comes Warwick. I want to make something happen with the Ari here. Well, leaps in with his ulti binding from Morgana, though, connects onto Vigor, but Fresh Daily is unstoppable. Meanwhile, though, Corki off to the back is getting engaged upon by the Evelyn here. Ignited, forced to flash and heal just to get away from this one. And here's Warwick. Doesn't want to keep chasing. Has Blood Scent, but doesn't want to keep chasing past the Morgana and the tower. Probably a good decision there. God, I hate the sound that Morgana skin makes when it goes back to base. It sounds like Morgana's soul is being sucked out by a vacuum or something. But enough complaining. Mainframe taking his red buff on Evelyn there, as down in the bottom lane we see Fresh and Lucian pushing up once again. Even though Corki is 8-1, they have managed to push up very effectively. And they might be able to get the power on this, but they want to dive into Morgana though, and Thresh pops the box, and Morgana's going down very quickly. Lucian gets his first kill of the game. A little bit too ballsy by the Morgana there to be that far up. And just rolling into the Evelyn. Evelyn's really low on mana and health, but it doesn't matter. Fresh Daily does so much work. He has a Blade of the Ruined King finished already. My lord, that is a lot of damage that Warwick's going to be doing. And Shyvana tries to find Evelyn out, but Evelyn has a speed buff. Now, Shyvana, I don't know that you really want this 1v1 with the Warwick. Hungering Strike heals him up a ton. But Shyvana is tanky enough that she can walk away if she needs to. So she does. She has that burnout running for the speed buff. She's just going to wander away from the Warwick here, but still, it's a bad sign when your Shyvana is getting out-dueled by a Warwick before 20 minutes into the game. It's not really a good thing, but Warwick is 6-0. And while he is behind in farm, to his credit, Urgot has 115 farms with Urgot's 98. So he's been keeping fairly relevant. He has 6 kills, which is going to be making up for that 20 or 30 CS discrepancy fairly easily. Blue buff. Ooh, Urgot has spell shield. He flashes past the event horizon, turns to try and do something to this Evelyn. He's going down very quickly, though. Why? He swaps into 4 members of the enemy team, and he gets instantly deleted. Goldaz picks up that kill on the Lucian. Now Thresh getting bursted down by the Ari. Very nice charm over the wall, trading 1-for-1 from both teams. Now the blue team might want to try and go for this blue buff steal. The Corki immediately left upon by the Warwick, though. Infinite Duress holding him in place as Corki flashes over the wall, takes out the Evelyn, but goes down immediately thereafter. Shut down Gold going over to Goldaz, and now Morgana's in trouble. She does manage to get the stun onto Warwick with her ulti, but she has so low health that the Blood Scent is activated. Nice turnaround binding. She might be able to escape here. Yeah, she's created enough distance that the Blood Scent has worn off, so Warwick no longer has that speed buff, so she's going to be able to escape. Oh, Blood Scent does get reactivated onto Ari, though. Warwick might want to chase here. Now, turns around. Doesn't want to keep chasing into all of that peel potential from an Ari charm and a binding to Morgana and just the turnaround potential that those two do have with their skill shot long-range CCs. So, oh, Vigor flashes forward, tries to make something happen, but the black soil from Morgana going to be doing enough damage to bring him down under the turret. That is a bit too forward of a play from the Vigor. And The amount of skins that have come out recently that have incredibly loud backing animations has occasionally made it difficult to cast some of these games, because I'll be trying to say something and suddenly pop star Ari will make it a disco in this cast, and I don't really want it to be a disco. I'm trying to inform you about what's happening on screen, and strategy, and analysis, and play-by-play, and all of that good stuff, and I don't want a disco, Ari. Can we just play the game and not have a disco? Thank you very much. Orb of Deception going across the minions, clearing that out. Nice binding lands on the Thresh, and he's probably going to be going down. Red buff from Shyvana slowing him up, but it doesn't matter. She gets instantly bursted anyways. Now Urgot, again, getting caught out. I mean, even that far up is too far up for the Urgot now, because he is so squishy. He's under-leveled. He has very few items. He's 0 and 9. 0 and 9 at 20 minutes into the game. That's honestly a little bit impressive. Evelyn going after the second turret up in the top lane. Wanders away from it, actually. She probably thought that blue team was peeling off to come after her. They didn't have any vision following where blue team went after they left middle lane, so she didn't realize that blue team just went off to farm some jungle and wasn't actually coming up to cut her off. So still, though, good decision. Even though in that particular instance it didn't matter, she could have stayed and probably got the tower. She didn't know that. She didn't have enough vision to know for sure that she was safe, that there wasn't a few members of purple team coming around to gank her, or rather blue team coming around to gank her and stop her from taking that tower. Morgana out in the jungle as we see that Goldaz and Goma are fighting it out. 1v1, shut down, going over to Corki, using the Valkyrie just for the Sheath block. Well done there. And now there is the owners of blue team incredibly low. Binding does stop the Evelyn in her tracks, as now Warwick is coming in. He has the blood scent and all of them, but he goes incredibly low from the burst. Corki flashes after trying to pick up the kill, but gets instantly deleted by Vigor. Now the binding is turned around and Vigor's here. DFG swag kill onto the Morgana. Using the DFG to kill someone is one of the most it's one of the most disrespectful ways to put it somehow. Because you're supposed to use it at the beginning of the combo to increase your damage. It's like, I don't even need to do that. I don't need the extra damage on this thing. I just use it to kill you. Yeah, well, anyways, funny voices aside, Vigor does get the double kill there, and the dragon is followed up upon by purple team as well. Some more level gold going into their pockets, which they honestly do need, because despite the fact that Warwick and Evelyn are doing so very well, and Vigor and Lucian are doing okay as well, but despite the fact that the jungle and top laner are carrying really hard, purple team, even despite the fact that they have a kill lead, is behind on gold, because blue team has an extra turret. Blue team has taken all the dragons but one this game, so they really need to catch up on that global gold. And Urgot, you cannot take this 1v1. Stop fishing for it. Event Horizon lands. Some good damage as well, and no place for the Vigor there. Hyperkinetic position reverser. Urgot's ulti. Vigor knew that it would be swapping places with him, so he placed the dark matter on where the Urgot was appearing after swapping. So good forethought from the Vigor, but it might not really help him here. Ooh, Sheen procs off that Triforce, doing lots of damage. Corki gets the shutdown. 11 and 3 Corki. They are putting every one of their eggs in this Corki basket. And I don't know if that's the best choice, honestly, because there's a Vigor and a Warwick on the enemy team. They're just going to both press R on Corki, and he's going to die without being able to do anything. Speaking of Corki, he's caught a little bit out with his friendly head. Morgana does very well dodge the hook, lands her ulti back under the Thresh, and he gets bursted down. She does fall in the end, but that was a pretty desperate situation for Blue Team, and they managed to turn it into a 1-for-1, so well done by them. Very nice sidestep from the Morgana. Props to the Morgana, yeah, for sidestepping there. Goldaz pushing out the bottom lane, taking those minions, and we have a moment here to look at some of the builds. Shyvana finds Lucian in the jungle. Wants to take the blue buff. Oh, she's going to clear out the ward, so that there's no ward there. Burnout active. She's chasing after Lucian. She wants this. How far is she willing to go? She's going to go in the tower? Dragon's Breath. Flame Breath, rather, leaps in with Dragon's Descent, deals some good damage, but there's Vigor going around the corner saying hello in the form of a giant burst of damage. Shyvana falls. Vigor doesn't care about dragons. He can press R on dragons too. And yeah, that's blue buff going to be going over to Evelyn. Shyvana diving a little bit too ham under the turret there. But some of the builds that I wanted to talk about, one of the ones I wanted to note was the Warwick's choice of build. He was Blade Run King straight into a Frozen Heart. Now that's... Frozen Heart is a pretty good pickup against the enemy team. It'll be effective against the Urgot, the Shyvana, and the Corki, though. To be fair, Shyvana and Corki both deal surprising amounts of magic damage, so while the armor is going to help against them, it's not going to be the only item he'll need to prevent damage against them if he wants to go full tank after this blade, which it looks like he's doing. The other thing he has in his inventory is the Doran's Ring, which is interesting. I didn't actually talk about it early on because there was a lot of action towards the beginning of this game, but Doran's Ring is an interesting pickup. Ooh, Ari flashing in with the spell shield. She lands the charm, lands some really hefty damage onto the Beaker. He goes down, Ignite now burning on the Thresh. It's not going to be enough to bring him down, though. There's a teleport coming in from the Warwick outer top lane. Ari doesn't go down. No one's focusing Ari. And now Warwick going to be ulting it onto the Urgot, but that's probably not the right target. Urgot really doesn't matter at this point. He is 0-10. And so he's going to get turned around on shutdown going over to Corki. And now Mainframe is in trouble. Ari still doesn't go down. 2-for-1 trade. 3-for-1 trade. What am I talking about? I can't do math. Corki is on a rampage here. No, he's on more than a rampage. He's 12-3. I'm really questioning that Warwick ulti. Because when Warwick isn't ulting, he actually does more damage than when he's ulting. For the most part. Hungering Strike does percentage damage chunks. It's a huge amount of damage. Especially if you can get it off onto somebody who I believe is low on health. I think it does percentage damage based off of how much health they're missing. But correct me if I'm wrong. And while you're ulting, you can't cast Hungering Strike. You can't use your Q while you're in your R. So basically, for that duration of time, you're trading out a little bit of your damage. You're still keeping a good amount, because he does some damage while in infinite rest. But good damage traded out from Lucy back into Shyvana here. A crit, and Rosewater Cutlass going to be slowing her up, but not going to be enough. She has Dragon's Ascent, she can leap away, but Urgot's teleporting right into an event horizon. Give him a come over to Gul'daz. Yeah, I don't know if that was the most well-advised Urgot teleport, but it's not been performing the best this game on the whole. Anyways, onto the Ari. Comes out, does some good damage. Ari's leaping forward. Corki comes flying in from behind, picks up the kill. Killing spree for Corki. Ari goes into his own mist to make sure that Mainframe can't bring him down. That's going to be 2 kills traded for naught down in the bottom lane. Well done by blue team. And as I was saying, Warwick's ulti, you do less damage than if you're not ulting while you're in it. So basically you're trading some of your damage potential to make it so that one person on the enemy team has no damage potential, or no kiting, or whatever it is. Now Urgot is not worth that trade. He simply isn't. At this point, the enemy Urgot is simply not worth ulting for Warwick, because it trades out too much of his damage potential in that team fight for somebody who's not going to be doing much at all. He's 0-12, he's finished his Muramana, to his credit. He could maybe take out Lucian if Lucian is focusing on someone else and he gets a bunch of free damage off. But this Corki is going to have to be the focus of infinite duress from the Warwick if they want to win these team fights in the future and not throw like they did before. Lucian's setting up an ambush. Someone gonna walk over there? No, Vigor, don't do it! Vigor, no! Charm binding dead. Instantly deleted as soon as he came near the bush. That's unfortunate. They should have had a little bit better ward coverage, but even so, you can't have a ward in every bush. So if the enemy team chooses to do that, they might get a free kill now and then if they're lucky, or if you're unlucky. Sometimes you just... some deaths, you can't do. As you see Warwick Netherland taking out the dragon, Shyvana comes around, doesn't get the smite steal. Purple team has slain the dragon. And now Shyvana's in a 1v2 situation, gets slowed up by the Bilgewater Cutlass, or Play the Roman King, rather. The Warwick then ults in with infinite duress. However, the rest of blue team, aside from Urgot, is pushing up the middle lane, and Urgot's pushing up top, so they're split pushing 2 lanes right now. And that is a double kill for Ari, diving under the tower. This Ari has really come into her own after the lane phase. Oh my god. That sucks for Vigor. Good lord. Up and... I'm sorry. Well, just walked up and ignited him. Didn't care. Walks up and pressed D or F or whichever one it is, or like Q or Y or wherever they have the key binding. Just ignited Corki and left. It's always funny to see that happen. Urgot been split pushing top this whole time. Trying to make something happen. He did get the outer turret. Not going to be able to get the inner turret. I mean, the inhibitor turret, rather. But, to be fair, despite the fact that this Urgot is 0-12 and 2, he has put a lot of pressure down in the top lane. He has a ton of farm. He's got 210 farm. He is the second highest creep score in the game, surpassed only by the Ahri. I don't know if this is the best plan I've got. Going for the red buff. Evelyn finds him out. Evelyn has the Banshee's Veil. Can't even slow her up. Smite to secure the red buff. And Hate Spikes to secure the Urgot. Yeah. Urgot didn't even get anything. It was a little bit too aggressive to go for that particular play, but I mean, it's not like he's giving up shutdown gold or anything. Things going on Baron in mainframe, starting it along with this gold ass California. Do you even live? That's a pretty great name from the Urgot here as well, and all 5 members of Purple Team at this Baron, and the other team is nowhere to be found, especially without the Shyvana all the way down so no chance of a steal at all. Veigar flashing forward, landing the event horizon, and bringing down Morgana. Mainframe actually picking up that, and Agony's Embrace entirely whiffing. That's gotta suck. Oh, here's Ahri. Maybe we're gonna try and get a pick, but bit off a bit more than she can chew. Infinite Duress coming out from the Warwick. Ahri does have ult to be able to rush away. Spirit Dash saving her life there. And she manages to escape, but at what cost? At what cost, friends? And now Valkyrie coming in with the Corki. And actually, nothing else happens after that. I expected more fighting, but we didn't get more fighting. Ooh, my lord! Those sorcerer shoes really paying off for Corki. The big one did tons of damage. Good God. And Ahri, this is not a disco. Get back to base, Ahri. This is not a disco. Get out of here. Ooh, Event Horizon. Corki Valkyrie's out of it. If you fly through an Event Horizon with Valkyrie or with something else like that, with Tristana jump, say, or some other sort of targeted dash, skill shot dash sort of ability, you will get stunned after the dash ends its course. Stun going out onto Urgot. He's not able to really chase him. He gets ignited. Here's Veigar getting ulted backwards, actually. He takes a good amount of damage from the Corki, but he's too low to come near that Veigar. One QW combo from the Veigar would instantly delete him. And now Urgot has turned tail and is fleeing. Shyvana's in trouble as well. Morgana comes in, lands her ulti onto multiple members of the enemy team. Might be able to stun them up in time to save Shyvana's life, but she's sacrificing herself for this. Lands the binding onto mainframe, and Warwick is chasing after her. Oh, the slow does go into Warwick, but he leaps in with infinite duress. Morgana has no way out of this. Shyvana comes back in to try and save her life, try and repay the favor, but might just be giving her life back up. Tet Goma coming in, gets the kill on that Corki. Turning around, trying and get back. This one, Blade of the Rune King. Use Blade of the Rune King, used by both of them. He turns around with the rockets, he's doing a bunch of damage. He can bring him down, but mainframe. There. With the hate spikes, gonna be finishing off this Shyvana too. Unceremoniously chasing her down, spikes going out after her. Double kill. Yeah. That was a ton of action. Lots of things happened. But I do believe that Purple Team came out ahead in that, but they're still behind in global gold. Blue Team has a 7-3 turret lead. That is all that's keeping them in this game. That and the 16-5 Corki, and actually the 10-3. It's not a disco, Ahri. Stop it. Charm doesn't quite land onto the Lucian. Gets stunned after going through. Oh, lordy. The DFG ult combo from Veigar is just way too much damage for Ahri to sustain. Follows her through the Spirit Rush, brings her down. And, yeah. Binding doesn't actually land from the Banshee's Veil. Curse, what we call it. Event Horizon doesn't get anybody either. Ooh, Agony's Embrace and the Randuin's, but she's spelling you. She doesn't care. She doesn't get slowed. Now Teleport coming in from the Warwick to the Inhibitor Tower. And Mainframe's actually going down quite low. Infinite Duress and Event Horizon both landing on Corki. Stacking the CCs actually doesn't make them all that effective. And somehow Urgot has gotten a double kill. He's here with the Hyperkinetic Position Reverser doing a bunch of damage. Triple kill for the Urgot. Coming back into the game here. Gonna take a little bit more than that to get him fully back into the game, but he did something. He has left his mark on this game. He can say with confidence that he was somewhat useful. He gets the the bronze medal. Participation, you did it. Flame Breath landing on the Thresh. Being chased out by Shyvana here. We're now going to be activated for the speed buff. Shield, Blade of the Rune King, and Box both used. Thresh might be able to escape there, but we swap back to the middle lane where Morgana's getting taken really low. Dark Matter bringing her down nearly to her knees. Ooh, the ult burned onto Corki, but it's not going to be quite enough. Zonya's gone into by the Veigar to try and survive. The rocket gets blocked by the minion, but the Sheen proc is still enough. And actually, Morgana gets the kill back with the binding here. Now they're going to come around trying to cut off this Thresh. Shield used, Phosphorus Bomb and Binding, both missing as Thresh flashes out of them. Hook lands on Shyvana, pulling her back under the tower. Slowed as well, and here is the Warwick around in the Blood Scent, and she gets bound. And with the Cullen all ready to go, and got entirely stopped by the Dark Binding and Thresh. Why are you trying to 1v1 a dragon? It's a dragon, you can't take that fight. And here's Warwick, he has the Blood Scent running, and Lucian as well, chasing after the 3 remaining members of the blue team here down in bottom lane. They want to make something happen, but Ari shows up. Ari doesn't want to let them make anything happen. This is Ari's disco. You're not allowed to dance here. Ari got pushing top lane. Wants to... He has been putting in some good pressure, but this seems to keep on happening. The Warwick ulting into Infinite Duress, Blade of the Rune King. No way Urgot can escape that. And actually shut down gold. I did not expect to say it, but this Urgot was shut down. Now Mainframe in trouble, gets bound up. The Lucian gets taken out nearly instantly by the combined burst of the Corki and the Ahri. Event Horizon flashed past. Nice binding, nice charm immediately after the binding ends. Whew. Orb of Deception goes across the tiny Master of Evil, brings him down. Stop it. Freaking dang. I'm sorry, I'll stop complaining about that. Warwick has Blood Scent onto the Shyvana, chasing after her through the jungle. Actually, it's continuing to chase her down the map there, gaining some good distance. She's running to the Dragon Pit, though. She does have her ulti yet. Yeah, she just leaps over the wall. I don't see any way that the Warwick can continue to chase. He didn't have flash. No, he did have flash out. That's a little bit too aggressive. Flashing deep into the jungle just to chase a low health. A single low health enemy when everybody else is... It's kind of a recipe for failure. Blue team has super minions just with the middle lane and the kill lead for once. I don't think, maybe a few times, but I don't think they've ever had a conclusive kill lead on the board up until this point. And so they do have that, and a gold lead of about 10,000. So, by all measures, the blue team is currently the lead. They've got some good pressure in mid lane, good pressure from those super minions. They have Baron spawning in about 40 seconds. If they can get it this time, then they can potentially use that to go for a final concerted push. They do have a decent team fight with Dragon's Descent and the Morgana ultimate being able to lock up the enemy team fairly well. Speaking of Morgana, she has found Mainframe out. She drops the Dark Binding, but it doesn't quite land, even if it had. That was a Banshee's fail in that M1. Morgana wasn't going to be able to hold her up there. Just kind of harassing her, forcing her to stop basing, and Urgot's teleporting to bot lane. He likes to push, split push. I guess he's not really powerful enough to really consider a team fight. I think the AoE capability alone of the enemy team would be enough to bring him down. So split pushing is probably his best bet here, actually. He has nearly 100 CS, actually just about 100 CS lead up over this Warwick. So split pushing has been working out for him in that regard. But he's going to have to, at some point, translate that CS. Oh my god, Warwick has discovered he has a Quicksilver Sash, but it's not going to be enough. Blade of the Rune King showing up as well. Fresh Daily has slain No Lolo. Very easy, simple kill from the Warwick there. Just show up, press R, press 2, 1, rather, get killed. Also right-click a few times. Gotta remember right-click, that's essential. Blue Agony's embracing, running into 2 energy on the team. Evelyn has no fear, chasing in with a Randuin's moment slow to stick onto them. Blade of the Rune King turned around though, and the Evelyn's very low. She does go down. GVX picks up that kill. Warwick has teleported in from the bot lane. He's chasing through. He's trying to make something happen here. Ooh, Ahri gets bursted away by the Vigor. Warwick finishing off that kill. The hook does not quite land from Thresh, and Warwick leaping in onto the Corki, picks up one kill. No, he doesn't. The Valkyrie comes out. There's so much fire. The battlefield is covered in burning flames, but triple kill so far for Warwick. Now, he has the red buff slow onto this Shyvana, and he has the speed buff from Blood Scent as well. Quadra kill. Very well done from the Warwick. Ace. And I think that's going to be Baron on their plates as well. They haven't got a smite. Evelyn went down. Nobody around to smite contest, so it's not really going to matter. And Warwick with all of that sustain and the Spirit Visage Blade of the Rune King, his passive, all combo together. I don't see any way that he's going to die into this Baron. He should probably solo this thing, actually. But he doesn't have to. He has some friends. No need to solo the Baron. He has friends to help him. And Purple Team has slain Baron Nashor once again, and still they're behind in Global Gold. They're still behind in Global Gold by not nearly 10,000 now. Getting that Baron did pull them back a bit, but by quite a bit of gold. And it's all because of this turret lead that the team has seemingly had since turrets were taken down in the first place. Sorry about that. I had to drop something. But, yeah, I don't really know how they haven't managed to convert these 2 Baron buffs and all of the kill pressure that they've had all over the board here into more turrets. It just seems like Blue Team has always been the one able to put that first step forward, able to get the aggression onto the enemy team. They've taken the middle inhibitor twice already. There's super minions again streaming up the middle lane. This time, actually, they didn't even make a concerted push onto it. It's just minions took it while they were heading off towards Baron. I mean, they can make pretty short work of the super minions as long as they're there. Warwick can bring those down with a Hungry Strike and a few auto attacks, but it's just interesting that the Blue Team, despite seeming to lose a good portion of the team fights, despite being behind every Baron that's gone down this game, has managed to hold a ton of map pressure. Having a turret lead virtually the entire game. Urgot trying to make an engage happen here. Lands some decent damage down to the Evelyn, but it's going down so fast himself. And Warwick is teleporting in, spell immune Morgana trying to kite around, and they pulled off the flanking maneuver, but it might be more to their detriment than to, well, their advantage. Vigor picks up the kill onto Morgana. Lucian takes the kill on Shyvana. That grind. And here's Warwick going down. Shutdown going over to Corki. He's turning this around. Oh, flash flame, but the flame doesn't connect. And the big one, not quite enough damage. Whew. And still got the fight raging on. Evelyn chasing it. Ari forced to go into Azonius just to survive there. However, Lucian going to be finishing off that kill fairly easily. He does win the 1v1 against Evelyn, picking up that kill, but Goldaz with a lucky crit gets the double kill on the board. That's another ace going the way of Purple Team. As I've said, they keep winning the majority of these team fights. They keep on winning them. And yet they don't have all the map pressure. They don't have the gold advantage. They don't have the turret advantage. They don't have anything that you would expect to follow after team fight victories and gold leads and Baron pickups and all of those sorts of things. This game, and you know why? It's because they have one person with proper range that can do decent damage with towers, and that's Lucian, and he's one of the shortest range AD carries in the game. They have essentially no way of pulling off an effective siege unless they fully ace the enemy team and are in a position to immediately push towers down. That is the only way that they can win these fights. I mean, win this game, rather. They can win the fights very well. They have the perfect answer to Corki here, who's the main powerhouse for Blue, as I've said a few times. They have Warwick and Vigor. There's no AD carry alive that can survive that unless they have really good quick reflexes, cleanse, or quicksilver. So, they have to burn everything on that, and then there's thresh hooks that could potentially hit them, or just the damage from an Evelyn. So, Corki has a really rough time of it in this game, and so they can win these team fights. They can win them, as we've seen, multiple times. But they need to be in a good position to push out. They keep winning them by the skin of their teeth. They're in a position where their brains are all cooked up against them. Evelyn, though, starting off a team fight here. Agony's Embrace launching the Dreamer of the enemy team, and here is Morgana with the bindings, landing onto multiple members of the enemy team, but none of them get stunned. They all manage to escape the slow in time, and Morgana now going to be falling as Urgot uses his ulti as a last-ditch attempt, but it's not going to be enough. Double kill for Evelyn so far. Nice hook. Finds on the hour. She goes into Zonius to try and delay the inevitable, but it isn't the inevitable. Goldaz is unstoppable. And they didn't actually lose anyone. So there, the first team fight where they didn't really train really hard to win is going to be the one where they can push out. It's going to be the one where they can take an inhibitor turn, take an inhibitor, and possibly win the enemy. Like, Ari is where half the power is for Blue Team, and she's not up for like 45 seconds. Shyvana missed the Flame Breath, actually. Traded fairly poorly against the Lucian. Went down to about half health, gets stunned up. Ooh, really good damage from the Vigor. He's scaled pretty well. He had enough time for the laning phase. And the rest coming out onto the Corki there. Healing up the Warwick during it, and he's going to be able to flash away from the tower and survive that. And the Nexus turrets are under fire. Event Horizon lands with the Corki. He goes down. Second Nexus turret falls. Nexus is going to be going down. GG, Purple Team pulls out the victory. Well played, everybody. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, consider subscribing or leaving a like or a comment or something like that. If you want your video or replay to be featured on the series, just check the description. You can figure out how to do that down there. And yeah, many thanks to Mainframe, the F1 on Purple team, for sending me this replay. Anyways, I'll see you all tomorrow.